What is going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new beginner's power surge pack that dropped on global the other day. If you play JP, I do apologize, but this is only a global exclusive as of now. But basically, the power surge pack contains 50 stones. It contains a brand new power surge ticket, as well as some Hercule statues and awakening medals. And then with that ticket, you can recruit one of these 10 units from this list. We're going to go over which unit you guys should be choosing. A little disclaimer before we hop into it, though. There's many factors that can go into what unit you want to choose. Everyone is in different points of the game. You could be a newer player. You may just need a super lead, extreme lead. You could be a long time player. You may want a rainbow unit here. You may want a brand new unit that you don't have. Maybe you have all of them except one. So there's a bunch of different factors that can go in. So by no means is this a definitive list. It's more of a generalized list for you guys to go off of. But hopping in, we're going to start with the best and go down to which unit you guys should choose last. You guys probably know already. But so first comes Broly. If you guys are not aware, this man is an absolute monster. Between him and the Angel Golden Frieza, those are definitely probably the best two units you can choose as of right now. So Broly, he is a 170 lead for movie bosses or planetary destruction. His super attack, he's going to raise attack and defense, which is huge. In the meta now, you definitely want units that are raising their super attack, raising their defense on super attack. Very important now. He gets key +3 attack and defense plus 180% from his passive. He reduces damage received by 18% and has a chance of performing a crit plus 18%, and then launches an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super attack. So guaranteed additional attack that has a chance of becoming a super. He also gets an additional key +3 and launches an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super, and reduces damage received by 18% and chance of performing a critical hit plus 18% within the same turn after performing a super attack when there is a pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans category enemy. So potentially, where best comes the best, this man can launch up to 4 super attacks. So he has the guaranteed additional that has a medium chance of becoming a super. And then if there's a pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans category enemy, he has another guaranteed additional. And then depending on what potential system you have in him, he could additional again. Now, if you're using this unit, I would suggest putting crits into him because he already has the built-in additionals. So I wouldn't waste additionals on him, but potentially he could launch up to 4 additionals. And then, oh, not 4 additionals, 4 super attacks, apologies. And then he does have an active. He gets key +6, attack +60%, and attacks effective against all types for 1 turn. And that is activated after performing 4 more super attacks in battle once only. So that'll happen really quick with Broly. And then he's on a bunch of good teams. He's on movie bosses, pure Saiyans. Full power isn't bad. Legendary existence is pretty good. And yeah, he also has pretty decent links. He has prepared for battle, fierce battle, super Saiyan, Saiyan lineage. So very good all-around unit. Great hard hitter. Additionals, raises his defense as well. So that is who I have in the #1 spot for who you guys should grab. And then as you guys saw before, #2, I do have the physical Angel Frieza, who does transform into the Angel Golden Frieza. So he's going to be a 150 lead for Res Warriors or other World Warriors. His super attack, he's going to raise defense, and he also seals super attack. He's mainly used now for his defensive ability. He's able to infinitely stack his defense. So for those longer events, he is very, very useful because his defense will get to a point where you take literally no damage. His passive, he gets attack and defense plus 100%. He gets an additional attack and defense plus 50% for 5 turns and a medium chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack within the same turn after receiving an attack, and then attacked enemies' attack and defense minus 30% for 2 turns. And then he transforms upon entering the attacking turn. So basically, whenever you're attacking, you can transform him. Now, because of the fact that you're using him in longer events, you want to build up his defense before you transform him. When he's transformed, he does have a damage reduction of 50% when HP is 50% or less. But for the main part, you want to build up his defense because that HP threshold is pretty low. 49% or less is pretty low. So that's some dangerous territory you're hanging around there. But When he's transformed, he massively raises his attack for 1 turn and causes immense damage, and then he gets a 120 boost to attack and defense. He gets an additional attack and defense plus 80% and a great chance of stunning the attacked enemy when performing a super attack. So definitely a harder hitter when he does transform, but then in his base form, he is very good defensively. So that is who we have in the second slot. Again, I would honestly 1, 2, these two could probably be swapped out depending on what you need, but for the most part, those are the first 2 units you want to grab. Next up is kind of close between Janemba and Gogeta, but I did have Janemba edging out Gogeta a little bit. So he's going to be a 170 lead for Corroded Body and Mind, or a 130 lead for Extreme Class. If you're a free-to-play player, I would definitely suggest the Janemba or the Trunks. I believe he's Super Class, Key plus 3 HP, attack and defense plus 130. These are great units to start with because of the fact that the category is much more broad. Obviously, at the beginning, you may not have all of the units you need for a full Corroded Body and Mind team or whatever category you're trying to build. But the fact that you can have a leader for a whole broad category is very helpful in the beginning of the game. So if you're newer, I would definitely suggest Janemba or even the Trunks. Yeah, or even the Trunks, because he's a super class lead. He's only 120%, but still a super class lead. But he raises defense for 1 turn and causes immense damage to enemy on super attack. His passive, he gets a 120 to attack and defense. He guards all attacks. He gives extreme class allies key plus 2 plus an additional attack and defense plus 30% with 4 or more type key spheres obtained, and then reduces damage received by 30% with 2 or more rainbow key spheres obtained. So he can be a fairly good defensive unit. He guards all attacks, and then he does have that damage reduction depending on what key you do have. And then he also does have a transformation, so this can be activated after the character receives attack 5 or more times in battle. And then in his transformation, he will raise attack and defense for 1 turn on super. He gets a 180 boost to attack and defense now. He randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to either rainbow key spheres or type key spheres. He gets an additional attack plus 40% with 3 or more type key spheres obtained. And then he has a high chance of evading enemies' attack with a rainbow key sphere obtained. So he goes from damage reduction to that chance to dodge, which is not bad at all. But his base form is probably the best because he also has the extreme class allies attack and defense boost. It is with 4 type key spheres obtained, so that can be a little more difficult than just 2 rainbow key spheres. But I would definitely say Janemba is up there in the pool list when it comes to who you guys should be using your ticket on. But again, if you're a free-to-play player, I would definitely suggest him if you are missing a bunch of units and you're just starting out, because he is that extreme class lead for 130. But moving on, we have the Gogeta, as you guys saw. So he's going to be a 170 lead for Giant 8 Power and then a 150 lead for Shadow Dragon Saga. I am not a huge fan of this unit, but I see why people do like him so much. He is a good unit. I'm not going to say he's terrible, but... So on super, he greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn and causes immense damage, and then he gets 200% to attack and defense. He gets key plus 4 plus an additional attack and defense plus 40% and attacks effective against all types for 8 turns from the start of the turn, which is a pretty good turn restriction. 8 turns is actually quite a lot of turns. Obviously, longer events, that won't be as much, but for the most part, 8 turns is a good amount of turns. He also has a high chance of attacks being effective against all types starting from the 9th turn from the start of the battle, and then high chance of evading enemy super attack and countering with tremendous power. Then his active, he gets attack and defense plus 40% and all enemies attack and defense minus 40% for 1 turn. That is a pretty big attack and defense debuff. It is only 1 turn, which kind of sucks. He does get a 200% boost, which you don't see in many units. And then he is effective against all types, like a bunch of other Gogeta characters. And then, of course, the main reason why people like him is his ability to evade super attacks and counter. For me personally, that gimmick in the game has not done me well, so I'm not a huge fan of units that do evade super attacks, but he is still a fairly good unit. I'm not going to say he's a terrible unit. He does have good, very good key links, as well as shocking speed over in a flash, GT, fuse fighter, and then fierce battle and Kamehameha as well. So he can also fit on a bunch of teams. So not a bad unit in the slightest, but not one of my favorites, but definitely a good unit on this list. I would put him around the middle towards the top. But moving on, next we have my boy Ink Gotenks. I am a huge fan of the fusions category, so I may be a little biased when it comes to him, but he is still a viable unit in today's global Dokkan. Obviously, when it comes to JP, there is a huge gap now because of the 200 leads, but we're not going to get into that. So he's going to be a 170 lead for special pose or a 130 lead to defense, and then 170 attack and HP for youth category. He has 2 transformations, so on his super, he's going to greatly raise defense for a turn, and then his passive, he gets key +1 attack and defense plus 100%. And then from his base form, he transforms starting from the 3rd turn from the start of the battle. So he's actually pretty decent in longer events and even as well as some shorter events. But you do have to wait 3 turns for him to transform, which is kind of a downfall to him. But his second form, he's going to greatly raise defense for 1 turn on super, and then he has a great chance of stunning, which is nice. His passive, he gets key +2 attack and defense plus 100%. He has a high chance of attack plus 50% and an additional high chance of attack plus 50%. And then he's a high chance of defense plus 50% and an additional high chance of defense plus 50%. And then a medium chance of launching an additional super attack. So if he raises his defense on super, he has that chance to raise it again because he has that chance to additional. And then he has 2 high chances of getting a 50% defensive boost, which is nice. So that is his second transformation, and then his last transformation can be activated when HP is 70% or more starting from the 4th turn, and he turns into SS3 Gotenks. So super attack, he's going to greatly raise attack and defense for 3 turns. So instead of the 1 turn threshold from the first 2 transformations, he now has a 3 turn threshold, and then he also has a high chance of stunning the enemy again, which is very nice. He loses his key part of his passive, but he does still have attack and defense plus 100%. He gets an additional attack plus 100% when performing a super. He gets key +3 and a great chance of launching an additional super attack for 4 turns from the start of the turn, which is not bad at all. So Gotenks there and his transformations, still a usable unit. By no means the greatest unit, but definitely a good unit to have in the bank there if you guys are looking to throw him on some teams or some events in the future. So that is Gotenks. Definitely one of my favorite on the list just because, again, I love the fusions units. But moving on, we have the Tech Boo. I am kind of iffy about him. I was kind of split between whether I wanted to put Trunks in front of him. The only reason I'd probably put Trunks in front of him is because of the fact that this is a great deal for newer players. So like I said, he does have that super class lead. But Boo, he's going to have 3 transformations as well. He's a 170 lead for Majin Power or the split lead for Artificial Life Forms, the same as the Gotenks. So he greatly raises attack for a turn. He gets key +1 attack plus 100% and then reduces damage received by 40%. And then exchanges starting from the 3rd turn from the start of the battle. So again, 3rd turn for his first transformation. He does have that 40% damage reduction, which is why I do have him above the Trunks. Like I said, defense is huge in the meta now, so that damage reduction is pretty nice. So his next form is the Pure Evil form. He's going to get key +2 attack and just attack plus 150. His damage reduction now goes down to 40%, but he has a high chance of stunning the attacked enemy and a medium chance of evading enemy's attack, including super. So he loses 10% on the damage reduction, but does gain that high chance of stunning as well as evading. And then he transforms from here. That can be activated when HP is 70% or more starting from the 4th turn. I believe same as Gotenks again. And then in his last form, Super Boo, he greatly raises attack and defense for 3 turns on super and seals super attack as well. And then he gets key +3 attack plus 220%, which is pretty nice. And then his damage reduction now goes back up to 50%, and he also has a chance of performing a critical hit plus 12% per Rainbow Key Sphere obtained. But getting to that 3rd transformation is definitely only really possible in the longer events. 4 turns on normal Dokkan. I mean, I guess it just depends on what teams you have, but 4 turns on normal Dokkan events with pretty stacked teams does go by pretty quick. So you most likely won't get there, but that is there for a longer event. So that is why Super Boo is there. Great defensive unit because of that damage reduction. And then next, the Trunks, who I did mention earlier. he is the super lead. I actually totally forgot he has another transformation as well. He's also a 130 split lead for Future Saga. So his base form is pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. That is why he's so low. He only raises attack on super, and he gets a 100% boost to attack and defense. He transforms on the third turn once again, and then his second form is probably when he goes up a notch because of the fact that he infinitely raises attack and defense on his super attack. He also gets a 120 boost to attack and defense on his passive. He gets key +1 plus an additional attack and defense plus 10% at the start of the turn, all the way up into 80%, so not bad there. But that ability to raise attack and defense is huge once he does transform. And then he can power up. That is activated upon entering the next attacking turn after he transforms. And that is when he gets the Miracle Sword form. He now causes immense damage to the enemy and massively lowers defense. He gets attack plus 30% and defense plus 10% per key sphere obtained. And then attacks effective against all types, and then randomly changes key spheres to tech. So honestly, if I were to say, his second form is definitely the best because of the fact that he can stack that attack and defense, but his base form is a liability, so getting to that third turn, you do have to be careful, so keep that in mind. But like I said, free-to-play players, definitely keep him up there on your list because of the fact that he, not free-to-play, newer players, I apologize, because of the fact that he is a super class lead. Again, that is a much broader category than just specific categories like Future Saga or etc. Moving on to our last 3 units. These 3 are honestly, they all need easy A's. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But third to last, we have the Planet Namek Goku. He's still like, he's okay, not the greatest, but he's going to be a 170 lead for Super Saiyans or Planet Namek Saga. I'm not going to go over super, but his passive, he gets 77% to attack and defense, and then attack and defense plus 15%, with each attack received up to 59%. Transforms when HP is 70% or less, starting from the third turn. So you do have an HP threshold as well as the third turn restriction now for transforming, which kind of sucks. But when he does transform, this is probably his best form. He raises defense infinitely on super attack, which is why his second form is much better. And then he gets 80% to attack and defense, and then attack plus 59% for the rest of the battle after receiving an attack. He also has a medium chance of guarding all attacks, and then guard activated against all attacks, and a high chance of performing a crit for 3 turns when the guard is activated. And then basically he has an enrage mode, which is much like the Grade 8 mode. It can be activated when HP is 50% or less, starting from the 5th turn. So I'm not going to go over that, but basically he takes no damage, and I believe it's just a 1-turn restriction, so that will be available for 1 turn. So that is Planet Namek Goku. Second to last, we have Bardock. Bardock very well could go ahead of the Goku because of the fact that in his base form he does raise defense infinitely, so that is why he's decent. But like I said, he does need an easy A. He's a 170 lead for Revenge Low Class Warrior. He's a 120 to attack and defense. He gets an additional attack plus 10% per low class warrior category ally on the team, up to 50%. And then attacks effective against all types when there's a wicked bloodline category enemy. So his passive is not the greatest because low class warrior is not a very good category. And then wicked bloodline, that's also dependent on what event you're taking on. But he does have that defensive raise, so he could be used in longer events potentially. And then he transforms from starting from the 4th turn from the start of the battle, or can be activated anytime there's a wicked bloodline category enemy. And then his second form is Super Saiyan Bardock. He raises attack and defense for a turn, causes immense damage, and greatly lowers defense. And then he gets attack plus 180, defense plus 100. Attacks become effective against all types when attacking extreme class enemies. He also gets key plus 3, a chance of performing a critical hit and evading enemies' attack, plus 18%, and reduces damage received by 18% for 5 turns from the start of the turn. And then he launches an additional super attack that has a high chance of becoming a super, and attacks become critical hits when there's a wicked bloodline category enemy. So again, dependent on what event or boss you're going against, he will get additional stat boosts, but Bardock definitely needs an easy A. He should get one in the future. And then lastly, the meme himself, Kaioken Goku. So he's going to be a 170 lead for Rep Universe 7 or Universal Survival Saga. So definitely good categories. I was about to say universes, but the unit himself is severely lacking. He needs an EZA ASAP. His super, he greatly raises attack and causes immense damage to enemies, so no defensive boost on the super. He only gets 59% to attack and defense. He gets an additional attack and defense plus 10% with each attack received, up to only 59%, and then he gets an additional attack plus 59% and attacks effective against all types when performing a super if HP is 59% or less. And that's only once only, and dipping below that is pretty, you're getting pretty low there, so it's kind of iffy. He does have an active, which causes ultimate damage to enemy and raises allies' attacks by 30% for a turn, and that can be activated when HP is 59% or less, or when another 3 or more representative Universe 7 category allies are on the team. So this man is severely lacking. That is why I have him in last place, but who knows, maybe when he gets his EZA, or when he gets, if, who knows, but hopefully when he gets his EZA, he will be a little bit better, because I do like the concept of the blue Kaioken, but I would have him last, but that is the last unit. So definitely top 3, I would say Broly, Fizz, Frieza, and then Janemba. You could make a case for Gogeta, but like I said, not a huge fan of him. But Broly and Frieza are definitely huge. Again, newer players definitely consider the Janemba as well as the Trunks in there because of their leads. But yeah, choose who you will with your ticket. Like I said, it's definitely dependent on what you guys need, what events you're looking to beat, how new you are to the game. So by no means is this list the best out there, but just a general list for you guys to go off of. But that is it for the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, go down there, hit that like button, consider hitting that subscribe button as well if you want to stay tuned for more Dokkan content, whether it be news, summons, gameplay, all that good jazz. We have it here on the channel. Also stay tuned, I should have a summon video out. First summon video on the JP side. I just started JP, so we'll get into that hopefully with some good pulls. But other than that, I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day. Definitely look at getting the new Surge pack, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.